Mikie Mahtook. Got the boys in. I got Lloyd. We got Mitch. We got Jackie Boyd.
He tried to jump up, and he might have knocked it in.
Good timing. Let's go. What a start to the Monday. I mean, I'm from Lafayette. My boys will come in and say,
oh, God. So me and Joe, bro, I got Joe in the headlock. And he's sitting there, he's punching me in the stomach, like, punching me.
Here, is everyone saying around, who here thinks Chico can practice today after having 5 full beers? And he goes, Chad Jones, right? Chad Jones. 6 minutes. For 7 minutes, right? Chad's like, no, man, I don't think Chico can practice today. And I was like, I look back, I'm like, Jesus Christ. I saw you there. You were more fucked up than me.
On the Spirit plane had some issues, I think. She was sleep farting.
you heard her or you just thought it was her?
I sat right next to her and I smelled it.
Whoa. What was that?
Time for
Good
the
show.
Now, when you do go to spring training, are you going to bring your chinchilla and your turtle? My dad tell you about it?
The SEC is, God, they hate fat people. I mean, I get crushed for that. You know what I mean? It's like, come on, man.
Hey, just the South, bro. You got a bunch of food down here. Like they should.
Look at Lloyd.
You know what, Lloyd?
You're looking for a recruiting coordinator, coach, I'm here.
He's like, I'll piss my pants right now.
No way.
We're wearing gray pants, long gray pants. He goes, I'll piss my pants right now.
Hello. Welcome back to Mik'd Up. Today is Monday, September 16th.
Victory Monday.
Victory Monday. What movie? What show?
Entourage.
Johnny Drama, victory!
Where have you been, Johnny?
LSU gets their passes their second big test of the year. First one obviously was USC. This one is their first SEC road game.
Well, they didn't pass the first one.
No, but this is their second one. So this is their second test.
They're
They
still in
only
school.
passed one.
Still in school.
They
GPA's
passed-
fine.
Listen, they're about a C+, B- right now.
Get those numbers
But
up.
they're working on it. They're getting ready for the final. It's coming up. The first, actually, probably the midterm exam is coming up. Final is a little bit later down the road. But they have their first road game in the SEC, first SEC game of the year at South Carolina. Columbia, South Carolina is a very tough place to play. Jared talked about that all week. Hey, it's not going to be this layup that we all thought it was going to be before the season started. They beat the shit out of Kentucky 31-6. Old Dominion, you can throw that out the window. They come in there and they start throwing haymakers at LSU to start the game off. LSU down 17-0 early. Weathered the storm, got back in the game, ultimately won the game. Huge win for them. Still a lot of things to clean up. We're going to get into that through the course of the show. But anytime you go on the road and you get an SEC road win, big thing, big game, big weekend. Obviously, Georgia showed you how hard it was. They almost lost to Kentucky on the road. They escaped that game with a W. Most important thing is to get a W, and they did that. LSU did that. They move on to the next week. They got UCLA at home. Opening line is 21-point favorites against UCLA at home. We'll talk about some gambling because the boys are hot. Boys are very hot.
Already got a teaser in.
Mik'd parlay hit for the second week in a row. It'd be great if my teammates bet on it, but nobody did. I did, and our other friend Grant Dozier bet on it as well. Not to be mistaken with Grant Dozar, who was a teammate of ours at LSU. He sent me a nice message on Instagram. He screenshot. He said, "Thanks for the parlay, boys. Thanks for the hit. Thanks for the money.
Thanks for the trust, baby.
We appreciate y'all. Keep following us. 2-1. Last 2 weekends, we have hit our Mik'd parlay.
Not easy to hit these things.
That is called a winning streak. So we are going to hopefully do it again for the third straight week. Saints look like an absolute wagon. Their offense is clicking. Their offense is balling. And Clint Kubiak seems like he's going to be a head coach by the middle of the year. Seems like someone's going to fire their coach, hire the coach middle of the year because what he's doing to this offense compared to what the offense was last year is pretty remarkable. It's fun to watch. Saints are 2-0, absolutely dismantling the Dallas Cowboys in Jerryland.
Jerry World.
Jerry World. See, I don't even like it. It's Jerryland.
Saints World.
It's Jerryland in my head. Hoodats were ringing loud in Jerry World over there. And what was the final score? 42? 44?
19 maybe?
44-19.
Something like that.
Second straight week they scored in the 40s. The first week they scored, I think, 46 points, albeit against the Carolina Panthers. This is against a team that is widely regarded as one of the favorites in the NFC. Defense that was supposed to be one of the best in the NFL. The Saints do what they want to do when they want to do it, and they score 44 points. So huge week 2 for Louisiana football. Or huge week 2 for the Saints. Huge weekend for Louisiana football. Let's hope to do it again for another week next weekend. Around NFL, Bryce Young.
Saints catching 2.5 at home against the Eagles. We'll find out a little bit tonight at Monday Night Football.
Listen, and we also got a conversation later on tonight at 6:45. Our friend Fletcher Mack coming on the show to talk Saints football. Before the season started, not a lot of positivity going into the year. It's like kind of like a wait and see. Preseason football, offensive line didn't look strong. Trevor Penning, I think, was on the verge of maybe getting cut. Definitely benched. Fuaga was a bright spot in preseason, but he was a rookie left tackle. Let's see how they mesh. Now we're getting conversations with offensive line gurus saying this is one of the better offensive lines in the NFL. They're running the ball. They're moving guys around. Dallas Cowboys have 2 of the best pass rushers in the league. Micah Parsons and Lawrence?
Dexter?
No. DeMarcus Lawrence.
DeMarcus Lawrence is the other defensive end. 2 of the best pass rushers in the league. 0 pressure, 0 sacks against Derek Carr last weekend or yesterday. So offensive line obviously figuring some stuff out. I think a lot of that has to do with scheme and the way Clint Kubiak is moving guys around and scheming these things up, helping the offensive line, helping the quarterbacks. People can say, oh, it's because he's doing this, it's because he's doing that. Same kind of shit they're saying in San Francisco for Brock Purdy. Hey, that means you're a good coach. That means I'm going to put the quarterback and the offense in a position to succeed. That's what the name of the game is as offensive coordinator, and that was what the hope of Clint Kubiak when we got him was, and that is what he's doing. So it's going to be fun to see them continue to grow and develop through the course of the year. Everybody's clicking. Derek Carr throwing 60-yard bombs to Shaheed down the field. He's just outrunning everybody. Olave making catch after catch. You have Alvin Kamara scoring 50 points in fantasy, beating me.
Beat me too.
Yeah, no.
What a game for me.
What a game for you. Not me. He scored 50
Call
points.
the ambulance, but not for me.
Looks like old Kamara, doesn't it? He's fucking breaking tackles, slippery, getting in the end zone. Looks like he's just gliding down the field, doing his thing. And the defense is doing what they need to do. They're getting after the quarterback, pressuring the quarterback, getting turnovers. So looks really good. Looks really fun. Let's hopefully they can continue it. The first 5 weeks of the season, minus the Panthers, their schedule's pretty tough. They got through their first big test. They obviously got the Eagles on Sunday. Then they got the Chiefs. And I believe they got the Falcons mixed in there at some point. So schedule obviously is a little tough, but
It's the NFL, baby.
very promising.
We had a light one last year. That didn't work. So
Yeah, you're right.
Let's go ahead and take this one.
That's a good point. In NFL news, obviously, we just talked about that. Bryce Young going to get a nice, comfortable seat on the bench for now. He has struggled, to say the least. I got a little echo in my head.
I'm working on the audio again.
Uh-oh. What happened?
I sent the Zoom link. Don't worry about it. Let me work.
Okay.
Let
Can I keep
let
talking?
the kid cook.
Can I
Yeah,
keep talking?
absolutely. It's muted.
Okay, it's fine. I didn't mean to call you out. I didn't know if you knew that.
Not at all.
Okay. Yeah, Bryce Young is going to take a little break. I think it's probably needed. Get a little exhale. Going to put the Red Rocket. Is it the Red Rocket?
Yep.
Or the Red
The Red Rocket
It's
is
not the Red Rocket.
that'd be
however you want
It's
to call
not
it.
the Red Rocket. It's the Red Rifle. They're going to put him into the game. And let's hopefully he can weather the storm a little bit until they feel like Bryce is back ready. I'd imagine he's going to get another opportunity. He was number 1 overall pick 2 years ago. Not the number 1 overall pick of the new staff, the number 1 overall pick of the last staff that's no longer there. We shall see how that plays out. Bengals, they love to start 0-2. They just can't get a win in the first 2 games of the season. It feels like they played great.
Taylor Swift show.
They played okay. You think they're cheating? Is that why you said that? You think the NFL's cheating? You're one of those guys?
Pretty ticky tack.
I mean, they were
Tag, we can't.
they were
Come on.
penalty.
Jamar do?
What?
What'd Jamar do?
That's not the penalty.
Well, you can't cuss out the ref. I'm sure. I'm pretty sure you can't do that. Yeah, I'm pretty sure the flag.
I think we're all adults out here. You ain't nothing you ever heard
I'm just
before.
saying, like, yeah, but I'm sure the flag wasn't on the play, and it was more so on him dogging.
Put
the
you in
ref
a 3rd
out.
and 22.
Hey, listen, the Jamar situation happens because you didn't pay him, man. Let's just be completely honest. Like, that's
Yeah.
you got a frustrated player.
No
Comes
doubt.
out a little bit when you get testy times right
No
there.
doubt. No doubt. They're 0-2. They have obviously shown that they can come back from the 0-2 deficit. They made it all the way to the Super Bowl doing that. Joe Burrow looked a lot better yesterday than he did the game before. Hopefully he continues to get better and get sharper. Big not having Joe Mixon, huh? Bigger than they thought it would be. Not having him in the backfield. That was a big piece of their offense. They have yet to find the replacement to him. It's hard to replace a guy like that. He does everything for you. He's a true 3-down back. You don't get many of those in the NFL. He is that guy. So we'll see what happens. And the last little tidbit of the NFL, that's a couple more. Malik Neighbors' first touchdown. Had a great game, 10 catches, 100-something yards, and a TD. Jaden Daniels' first NFL win. Seems like he's getting a little bit more comfortable. They're doing him a very good service, and they're putting him in positions to succeed. He's running the ball really well. He's making efficient, short rhythm throws, and he's continuing to get better and better. And he's looking like the Jaden Daniels that we all grew accustomed to throughout LSU. So those are the Heineken headlines. A lot to talk about. Don't know if we're going to get to it all. We're going to get to as much as we can get to. But the majority of the conversation is going to go from LSU to the New Orleans Saints. We're going to start with LSU because we want to bring our friend on at 6:45 to talk Saints because he's a New Orleans guy and he's right in the middle of it. And he's, very – you don't have to press him for a lot of conversation. He's a great talker, and I love that about him. We're great talkers, and I'm looking forward to his take on this because before the year, he didn't think that the Saints are going to be – he didn't know what to think of them.
Yeah.
Seems like a lot of people were in that boat. They've obviously proven that they are way better.
At least on the radar.
Right? Offensively, the schemes that they're doing, what they're – now, it's NFL. It's a hard league, week to week. It's a week-to-week league, and but the first 2 games of this season have been really good. But LSU goes this past weekend to South Carolina, Columbia, South Carolina. Game day's there. It's 11 o'clock game. Kirk and Reese on the
and Ben.
Kirk and Chris.
And Ben
on the call. We talked a lot leading into the game about game day's there. It's going to be super hyped. It's going to be really good for LSU. They're going to go in there. We think they're going to do what they need to do, and they're going to come up with a victory. Didn't really work out that way. LSU deferred. They don't normally do that. I was not expecting that. So they defer. South Carolina proceeds to take the ball all the way down the field and score a touchdown. Great first drive, and runs it right down our throat.
7 plays, 75 yards, touchdown.
Yep. Not ideal. Okay, fine. Script the first drive. Let's get the ball. LSU gets the ball back. Let's figure this thing out. Doesn't work out. And they get the ball back, and then we're down. Is it 10-0?
We're straight up 10-0, then 17-0.
It's 10-0. Then the blocked punt, which led to another touchdown to make it 17-0.
First play touchdown.
So they are beating us offensively, defensively, and on special teams. All three phases of the game. Beamer ball strikes again. 11th blocked punt of Shane Beamer's coaching tenure since 2011. That's 11. That's most in college football.
What do you think they talk about at Thanksgiving? Special teams.
Punts.
Special teams.
Yep, how to do that. So LSU is in a position where it doesn't look good. They have, after the first quarter, they have 7 yards of offense. Right? South Carolina took it to LSU. They executed their game plan to perfection. LSU felt like they came out, I don't want to say flat, it's just they didn't come out sharp. They're a little discombobulated. South Carolina's defensive front is real. Their defensive ends are real. And I think it took a little bit for our offensive line to kind of understand that. And kind of, you can see it on film, but once you're there in person, it's a little bit different. And we had some haymakers thrown at them, and you know what? We got them off the mat. We said, all right, here we go. Second quarter hits. LSU
here we go.
Down there, 17-7, 17-10. You feel like you're about to make this big move, and you kind of weather the storm, and you get back. You close the gap. I think it was, 24-16? 24-16 and a half? Is that what we got to?
Somewhere around there.
Yeah, no, that's exactly right.
24-16.
They had the big 66-yard touchdown right before the half.
Right. And you give it 20, then it's 24-16. And then you get to 24-22. And you make your comeback, you do your things. There's a lot of positives. One, I said I wasn't going to do this. And I'm not. We're going to be real today. Okay? It's not going to be, I'm not going to be all sunshine and rainbows, because it's not. I'm going to give you a few positive points, and then we're going to get to it. Somebody stepped up in the running game. Feels like the way he runs the football and Caden Durham is the way this offense is built. He feels like he's kind of a really good fit on how this offense is supposed to be executed. His style of running fits the style of offense that we have. Zone reads, triple option. Basically, it's the modern day triple option. The RPOs, he's that type of running back to fit that. He came out of nowhere, broke tackles, executed, held up in pass protection, was a huge spark that we needed, right? LSU was down 17-0 on the road in a hostile environment, came back and won the football game, figured out a way to win. I think Nussmeier, outside of that one throw on the goal line, which I know everybody's saying can't happen, see what happens, all this stuff. Nussmeier has making some NFL-style throws, and he's playing lights out. One bad throw does not define how he's been playing so far this season. He has been lights out. Aaron Anderson's playing really well. Kyron Lacey playing really well. Now, all of that being said, boy, it was pretty sloppy. They had 10-plus penalties again. They had bad turnovers when we didn't need it, bad penalties when we didn't need it. You had blown assignments on defense, and it wasn't confusion. It felt like it was over, hey, I'm going to try to make this play instead of I'm going to try to play my role on this play. And a lot of that led to big runs that turned into touchdowns and could have been backbreakers in games. Got some beneficial, the correct calls, not bullshit cheating referee calls, the correct calls that helped mitigate some of these big turnovers. But all in all, it was too sloppy. You can't continue to play that way. Too hard to sustain that. You're playing too good of teams in the SEC to be able to go out and get down 17-0 and win the game. Got down 7-0 against USC. Got down 14-0 against Wisconsin going back to the bowl game. Cannot happen. Jared, what is your assessment on the game, and what do you want to highlight as the part of, hey, these things have got to clean up and get better before we start thinking about, okay, we're a good football team?
Well, first and foremost, you win the ball game. Yep. I think that that needs to be said straight up as anything goes. As I tried to tell Lloyd and pretty much everybody else that listened, that this place was going to be a tough place to go in and play. And once again, you're going on the road in the SEC period. That's tough enough in itself. But I already knew about this place and how tough it is to play there and what kind of team they had and what they were going to be able to do. And I think I projected the score being like 34-31 or something like that. It's pretty damn close. 3-point game still.
Was that what
right?
it was?
I know it was both in the 30s.
36-33.
Is that what he bet? No,
I said 33. Yeah, he was close.
Yeah, that was pretty good.
34-31, and it'd have been 36-33.
Yeah, that was pretty
It's
good.
pretty close. So my point to it is look, you go into a place like that, it's going to be tough to play. You weather the storm that, honestly, obviously by the history of everything, coming back 17 down hasn't been done much in LSU's history. They're able to do that. When I see them go to places like this and you watch how they're playing, being able to play alignment and assignment football, it is so key to what you're doing. I thought they didn't do a very good job of that early on in the game. I thought some players were trying to play a little bit over their skis, trying to do a little bit too much, trying to make plays that they didn't necessarily need to be making, and it left a wide open ass holes. And they were able to take advantage of that early on and kind of bust us right in the mouth a little bit. Now, offensively, I thought the game plan and how they came out and how they started this thing is they did a whole lot of – they didn't really utilize the motions. They tried to kind of spread the defense out and use the corners and use that is like the extension of the run game. And it really didn't push the ball down the field, and it got our offense off the field and our defense back on the field a lot too early, in my opinion. Sooner or later, we started figuring this thing out and being able to move it forward and then obviously utilize the motions and start being able to use it that way. I would like to see us do more of that as we move forward and being able to implement, being able to push it out to the edges a little bit as you get into the game, as you establish the ability to be able to kind of move the ball forward. Like I said, the biggest thing you can take away is coming out with a win, because here's the thing: when you go into situations like this and you lose and you don't, it looks ugly. Like it really, really, really looks ugly. But it also tells me a lot about this squad when you can go down 17 and find a way to come back and win. Now we have something that we can work on, because I know for a fact you didn't quit on yourself. Now you're starting to understand that these things, when we tell you keep your head in this gap, it's supposed to be in this gap. Don't get sucked inside, and that means something. We can actually go to these points and show them and show you this is the little bit that mattered, that busted a run, that busted maybe a game, right? So now these teaching points, they really start to stick a little bit more. So I'm optimistic about what they did. I knew this was going to be a tough test. I knew that this team would be able to move and score. You got to remember, like this, Lenore Sellers, much like a lot of guys when they get their first opportunity. Look back to Jalen Milroe last year. First start out the gate, not very good. Second start out the gate, not very good against Texas. They bench him, and then after that, it slowly starts to pick up, and he becomes a force. Lenore Sellers' first game of the season against Old Dominion, not very good. Second start on the road against Kentucky, better. Not great, better. If he's still in this game, I'm not sure if we come out of South Carolina, out of Columbia with a win. But he wasn't. But my point is he got better. All right? I knew there would be a better team. I knew this thing was going to go the right direction, and it did for him. We were able to weather that storm and kind of go forward. I'm looking to see how they build on this and go forward, because you got another game next week, and you bring in a quality UCLA team here this week. You're going to play them, and then is that the week before the bye? Or is there one more game before the bye?
We got South Alabama.
South Alabama before the bye. So you got 2 weeks to really start putting this thing together. But this is a huge game coming up, right? Because now you're going to get a chance to do this thing at home with another quality opponent coming in. And now this is another test for you to be able to level up your game and kind of refine some of these things and clean it up and be able to move forward.
Couldn't agree more, right? I think that there was you're going to look at the final score, you're going to look at some of the big plays, right? And you can't say, oh, we just take away the big plays and defense play fine. That's not how that works, right? But you go and you look at the film, right? They can look at it. They've already seen it. They say, hey, listen, this wasn't because we're not good. This wasn't because we're even confused. This was because, hey, we tried to get a little bit over our skis and go make a play instead of saying, hey, this is where we need to be. And staying in our lane, staying in our assignment, and making the play, right? There was a lot of plays where they did that, and it worked out. There's a few plays where they didn't, and it ended up being big plays, right? You look at the numbers, and you look at what South Carolina ran for 243 yards. You can probably attribute half that to the 3 long runs that they had, right? You had a 70-yard run, or a 75-yard run, and a 60-yard run, or
I think 70-something, 66, and 65, I think.
Yeah, something like, so 3 runs made up for almost 200 yards of rushing, right? You had a guy, Rocket Sanders had 143 yards rushing and 2 touchdowns, and Lenore's had 88 yards rushing. Majority of that came on
2 runs.
The run, right?
2, yeah.
Yeah, his long run.
Mm-hmm.
So my point in saying that is You gave those up, and that can't happen. You're going to play teams that have more talent down the road. But it wasn't like South Carolina was a Nichols. It wasn't like a South Carolina was a team that was severely inferior than LSU. They had some really good athletes on that team. And these are going to be learning moments.
Yeah.
The main thing is you got out of that game with a win. Defense made plays when they had to. Strip sack. I know it didn't turn into points because we ended up turning it over right after. But they got after the quarterback. Braden Swenson played the game of his life. I think he had 3 sacks by himself. I'm looking at the tackle totals. Whit Weeks had a couple of busts and assignments as far as where he's at, but you could tell he was trying to do a lot. So even with the bust, he was everywhere. He was making plays, right? Harold Perkins didn't have. No, it's not how it is.
Now it sounds way better.
Wow.
I was over here doing some doctoring.
Somebody unplugged it. Not me.
It could be me.
I hadn't touched it.
I didn't touch it.
I hadn't touched it. I just, turn key in this room. You know what I mean?
I was like, dude, I think my headphones are broken. I had my volume turned all the way up, and then, yeah, you're good now.
There we go. We're back. But my point in saying this is there's a lot of good things to take from this. But at the end of the day, man, you cannot have – I don't know what the penalty yardage was, but I believe it was somewhere around 100 yards of penalties, maybe more. Thank God South Carolina did the exact same thing.
Yeah, and that's what. So you say like they're going to play more talented teams. I don't necessarily think that's a false statement. What I do think is you're going to play more disciplined ball clubs, and I think you're going to play teams that are going to be able to do the little things right and stay off of the penalty markers and stay off of things like that, and that's going to be a huge difference in ball games. And that's why I said like those things have got to start being cleaned up a little bit because that's what's going to lose you games as you continue to go down the line here.
I will say this. LSU over the last 3 games, I don't really remember off the top of my head on Nichols, but I remember against USC they forced 3 or 4 fumbles. They didn't recover them, but they forced a bunch of fumbles. They did the same thing against South Carolina, forced 4 more fumbles. Now this time they recovered 2 of them. So the defense is a lot more opportunistic than they have been in the past. Obviously, I think one big thing that I wish they would do is be able to attack the ball defensively in the secondary, right? Because a lot of times they weren't getting beaten coverage. They had good coverage on these guys, and they weren't getting the 50-50 balls. And I think that comes with experience, that comes with confidence, and that comes with time. I think you're going to start seeing these guys start making some of these plays. Lloyd, what were your take on it? Because you've been a lot more positive than I think than most people are expecting.
Well, Fonz said I fucking told you unplugged it. Good on Fonz for giving us a little volume control. He goes, I thought he unplugged it. And I don't know who unplugged it. Not saying it's just you're good now.
Maybe
you're
it was
back.
accidental.
Yeah, it was accidental.
Also, like the way they've been using Aaron Anderson. We're going to get into that a little bit.
That's my guy. The John Emery.
My guy's been six catches, 50 yards, touchdown. Just working.
Just set the record for most tight end catches and in a career at LSU. No big deal. No, but I was overall positive. There's the one takeaway, if I had to have one, like that's going to be negative, would be the fact that you can keep saying, hey, the defense is playing great and the turnover rate and the havoc rate, all these things.
Great. I didn't say they're playing great.
I contend that they are. If you take away some of these plays, right? You can't. And that's part of the problem where it's easy to look at, like, oh, it's 1 or 2 coverage busts, and that hasn't been the deal. That was last year where it was you got people running naked down the field, and you got to figure that kind of stuff out. I think a lot of people are going to look at that game that you saw against South Carolina and look at the bust and look at some of the things that happened, and it wasn't exactly that, right? You had probably 5 people in 5 different positions for the first time all year. You saw Whit Weeks play a ton, and you saw what happened whenever he was an every down linebacker. Like, he got himself – he's used to playing out over his skis and going to make a play. You saw his eyes change a little bit. Me and Jay were talking about it before the show. We all were. Where it's not – like, he's been on the field when it's, hey, Whit, go hunt. Go make a play. And this was you have to play within the scheme a little bit, and you saw that bust LSU. My only contention would be if this happens against Nichols and it happens against South Carolina, the big plays on the run game where it's run fits and things that you should have kind of figured out, they're continually not to happen. But with that said, you have a great 2-week test to get these 2 things figured out whether it's run fits or positionally. But I think that's why I was concerned about making the change to Harold Perkins at star, which moves everybody around the football, right? Now you have to put what weeks in. They ran a 4-3 for the majority of the game. I would have liked to have seen that wait and just put Perk at spy, and then we'll figure it out the next 2 weeks.
Well, I mean, you got to remember too. There is a piece of game plan specific stuff that you do. I would imagine the front and everything that they did had a lot to do with understanding that they were probably going to run the ball a ton. They ran it 41 times in that game, right? So I would imagine that probably had a little bit to do with that. And obviously you insert with weeks. Look, I don't think the run fits are quote unquote not figured out. You just have to get guys playing disciplined football.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like I find it really hard to believe that we are fitting runs where we have trucks we can drive through these holes. It's also getting guys to understand that play your role. You're not going to have 19 tackles every game. And I think a little bit of that and understanding that, and that's honestly the growth and maturity that comes along with playing ball at this level. Because you got to remember, all of these guys, everywhere that they've ever been before they got here, you're the superstar. You're the one we're asking to go make the play. You're the one that can't be blocked. You're the one that's the problem everywhere you go. And I'm not saying that some of these guys don't have the talent to do it, but you're not asked to do that every play, every down when you get to this level of football. And I think understanding that as you grow in these roles is something that, like a Whitweek, something that sometimes kind of even Harold, these guys got to kind of understand that you have to play football within the framework of the scheme. And that's the part that you make these mistakes in the first month of the season. As the season goes, you start hoping that these guys start maturing and start coming along and start understanding and grasping those concepts and start applying them to their actual game. And not like 80% of the time, 100% of the time in the game.
Yeah. Do we by any chance have the PFF grades?
I can pull them up really quickly because I do.
The reason why I'm saying this is because you talked about having guys in different positions. True, right? You have Harold Perkins that plays star, and I like the way they're using him. I like that they're bringing him in blitz. Look, there's a play on the sack fumble, right? Now, look, Robbie Ashford's not known for being the greatest passer in the world.
He went for over 300 against LSU when he was at Auburn.
Did he throw for over 300?
No, just total.
Yeah, I know, because he ran a bunch. But
Saturday.
Huh?
Not Saturday.
Not Saturday. But on that strip sack, they showed it on the TV. They showed it on the broadcast. They highlighted
on the iPad.
On the iPad. My iPad didn't work. I hadn't turned it on since COVID. A lot of updates had to be done. Could you imagine how frustrated I was on the golf course?
I told you that was going to happen. He told me, he's like, LSU started playing bad. I might have brought some of that to the course. I may have cussed at somebody that I was playing with.
Oh, actually, I will say this. I'll give a.
Your flowers?
Listen, it was my fault. We're on a par 3. This is match play.
Which
9
hole?
holes match play. We're on 5. Okay, it's a kind of a tricky par 3. A little wind in the face.
Water.
Weird number. You got water. All right. You gotta get it over there.
You go at that back bunker on the left, and you'll always
gotta go
be
at
short.
the back. But if you go long on the back bunker,
you rarely do.
You're slippery.
That wind is all crosswind.
So we're sitting there.
I love that.
They had just won the hole, so they had the box. And I'm sitting in my cart, and I'm watching the game. And I forget what play it was, but it was
probably Lamar Sellers going for.
No, it was a 3rd down. It was something that happened with us, and I wasn't paying attention. And I was sitting in the cart, and I said, "Fuck!" I screamed it loud as he is swinging,
mid backswing. That's just
terrible. I look up, and the ball goes boom in the water. Now, his partner was like the higher handicap and the better golfer.
Lower handicap.
The lower handicap. And
I told you all was gonna happen.
I was like, oh, my bad, man, my bad. Thinking like, no big deal. Like, look, hit another one.
In a golf tournament.
Not thinking it was gonna be what happened. He hits it to 7 feet. Like, he hits it, I'm like, oh my god. And then what did I do? I hit my. Almost I have a crick in my neck, so if you see me twitching my face because my neck caught. But what I do, I hit it in the water. There may be some little chatter in the back, but didn't get an extra swing. So
good guy, Mikey.
Whatever. Anyways, I forgot why I got to that.
But I say that we got way off the rails, right?
But my iPad thing didn't work.
Yeah, iPad didn't work.
Too much updating. We got there because of 5 different positions. they highlighted Harold Perkins. Harold Perkins is playing the star position. He had been coming in and getting a lot of pressure on the quarterback, not necessarily getting sacks, but disrupting a lot of the plays in the backfield, allowing other guys to get there. Happened early in the game when Sage Ryan, much maligned, Sage Ryan comes in, forces a fumble on a sack. They recover it, big play. Well, in this
Perk almost took off on that too.
I know. On this specific play, instead of him coming in, he trails back. Robbie Ashford thinks he's going to have the guy going right over the middle. Harold Perkins does it perfectly, gets right underneath the window. He can't go it. Now Robbie Ashford's panic. Strip sack, recover it. Now, it didn't end up turning into points, but I like the way they utilized him there. I also like the way that our freshman safeties played. I know they had some busts, but they actually played pretty well. This is a road game in the SEC. You're getting a start. There's a lot of things that you have to navigate through, and I think that this is an experience that they're going to be able to get better from, and I think that they got better as the game went on. So, to your point, 5 different players in different positions, I think that's a big thing.
And you had the Harold Perkins pressure numbers. If you're going to pull those back up, I have the PFF. Take it for what it is. It's a metric that you can look into.
It's a metric.
It's a metric.
It's a metric.
Jordan Gilbert, highest rated safety at 82.9. Caden Durham, highest rated running back at 82.5. Aaron Anderson at 78.3. Greg Penn, 74.7. This is all out of 100. Sage Ryan, much maligned, 72.8. So, for what you're saying, I do agree that you want to see the young guys play, but this is what you get when young guys play.
Where was Harold rated on that?
He's not. He wasn't in the top 5 or bottom 5. He's right in the middle.
I'm gonna be honest with you. Why? The reason why? Because
I think he calls other people to play well.
So for me, yeah, that's fine. For me, when I watch him play, though, I feel like I've seen him a lot around the ball, disrupting this year. Not just yesterday, not just Saturday.
Right.
This
But not
year,
making the play.
I saw him miss a good 3 to 4 to 5 tackles.
First play of the game, he missed a tackle
himself, and for him to take that step to be where everyone has him regarded and where we think he is, those plays have got to be made. And I know for a fact he would sit there and tell you that himself right now. Yep. And so, that's the step me personally, I want to see him take is everything we used to see him doing his freshman year in the backfield on quarterbacks is I need to see him start making those plays when it's one-on-one and me and you in the phone booth.
Yeah.
I need to see him start making those plays on backs, on receivers all the time because that's the kind of player that I believe he is, and I'm sure that's the kind of player that he believes he is as well. And once he starts doing that, I believe that's when he takes the next step to where it's like, oh, wow, this is stardom type thing. No, that's where I think he should be.
100% agree. Another thing to point out, on South Carolina side, there's 20 pass attempts, right? Actual pass attempts, whether they scramble, but 20 times they actually threw the football. LSU had
40.
5 sacks, 9 tackles for loss, right? So 5 sacks on only 20 passing attempts. Obviously, those sacks don't count as passing attempts, but the defensive line was getting after the quarterbacks at a high rate, like a percentage rate of not having a ton of dropbacks.
Havoc rate, baby.
Right? They were getting back there on a team that didn't throw the football a lot. They're running the football now. The running fits have to get better. But the way that we're getting after quarterbacks right now, I think, is a huge because last year was not that way. They're getting after the quarterback, and to me, those are game changers. You can strip sacks and fumbles. That's how you end games, and that's how you can turn games around. And that is a huge positive for me, right? These guys are getting after it. I think it's pretty impressive what defensive line coaches can do.
They look good up front, man. But for me, and look, you bring the highest paid defensive coordinator in town. He is a linebacker specialist. At this point, too, if the defensive line is playing better and they're holding points pretty well, and now we need these second-level guys to kind of start filling these gaps and start playing better there. To me, one of the biggest signs of a bad defense is when you can't stop the run.
Yeah.
Right? And because we're not making tackles and we're kind of playing out of character and out of our position sometimes, that's making us a bad defense. You get what I'm saying? Like when somebody runs for, I think, 243 on you, I don't care if it's 3 runs or not at all. That's all it takes, right? You take those 3 runs away, that's 21 points off the board. That's all it takes sometimes. And they don't need to put the ball in the air more than 20 times, or they can't put the ball in the air more than 20 times because they said, you know what? We'll run it down their throat for 41 times. Right. And that's kind of what they did. So those plays have to start being made, and what you saw from the passing game and what you saw from the passing rush becomes that much more, in my opinion, that much more effective because the run game has to be shored up. And I think that's the next progression of where this defense needs to go is we have to start fitting better. We have to start playing the run a little bit better, or it's going to be bad news as we continue to go in this league.
Yeah.
Just will be.
A couple things here.
Fletch didn't get here soon. We're going to get back to this after
I have the Zoom link sent to him. Now I have questions about the sound. A little concerned. But I don't know what's going on. You weren't plugged in. I think you're definitely plugged in. I'm plugged in. So people show up to work sometimes. That said, I did get the question earlier today. If Lenore Sellers doesn't get hurt, do you think that changes the way that LSU that changes the game?
Yes.
If Lenore Sellers doesn't get hurt, LSU might lose by 14.
I don't think it
Just
will.
being honest.
But
Beauty is, we'll never know.
But what can Robbie Ashford do that Lenore Sellers can't?
I think Lenore Sellers
He knows the offense. I think he knows the offense. I think he has the reps and everything.
Yeah.
That's just he
But
was.
the numbers when positive me over here in this corner. Once they settled in, they settled in. That defense. That when you go through the drive chart and you look
when did they settle in?
I'm looking
after the
second half.
quarter.
So, South Carolina had 24 points at halftime. They scored 9 points.
And they scored. I think they had 9 yards in the third quarter.
So they did settle in. I will give you that. They had 9 points, and they had 9 points in the fourth. A lot of that was. They weren't all field goals, right? One was it was a 2-point conversion. They tried to go for two. They scored 1 touchdown in the fourth. Try to go for 2.
What do you think about that? What do you think about going for it now?
What do you mean?
LSU. I'm talking about when they get down to the first and goal from the 2.
They tried to change it up. They tried to get under center.
There's a lot of things to talk about.
I know. We're not going to be able to get to all of it right now. We're going to get to it after the conversation. He's not in there yet, right?
No.
Okay. I like their idea of, hey, okay, it hasn't worked the way we've been trying to do it, short yardage. Let's
put a defense.
Let's try to get under center and let's put a guy who's athletic. And I understand the concept. I would like to see a little maybe some options, like some different. Don't run the same play 3 times.
There you go.
Type thing.
That's all. I loved what they did. I just didn't like you literally gave the same look 3 times in a row, and even though you changed the play call, if you will, on the 3rd time, you actually gave the same action and the same look to start it. So like that kind of stuff, I think that we could have been a little more creative in that spot, but that's what I got on that. But I love them actually getting under center and doing something a little different.
Yeah, me too. But that is a concern. The short yardage, 3rd and shorts, 4th and shorts, not being. That's the 2nd time they've gotten down there on the reds and on the inch yard line basically, and not gotten a touchdown going for it on 4th down. You got to be able to do that.
Fletch is here.
All right.
Let's see if this works. Fletcher, please speak to us.
Fletcher, stick with us.
Oh, you got to clean your screen up a little bit, brother.
Can you hear us?
Hold on. You know what? Hold on. Let me wipe it down here. How's that? Better?
Hold on. Do it again. Do it again.
It looks terrible. You're right.
You look like you're in the Matrix right now.
Oh, the condom on.
You look like you're in the Matrix right there.
They had 2-0 condom game.
Yeah. I think I'm gonna need to get a new. This thing is dirty as hell.
I thought you just got the wrapper and you forgot to take the little thing off.
No, you know what? I wonder if I can I don't think I can put it back on. So
It's all right. You look great.
Well, now you look gorgeous.
You look great as always.
Okay.
We appreciate you coming back on. I love having you on. You make our show, you make our day better, you make our night better. The Saints have made our season start off really a lot better than we anticipated it. We all had these high hopes for Clint Kubiak. What's he going to do? How much different can he make this offense look? The offensive line in the preseason football was
much maligned.
It was a lot of conversations about what that's going to look like. And, boy, I was not on that train of expecting what we've seen. I was not expecting 90 points in 2 games. I was not expecting one of the better pass rushing teams in the NFL to get 0 pressures on our quarterback. What have you seen? What have you been hearing about this team? And what has changed from preseason to these first 2 games offensively, especially on the offensive line? Where'd he go?
I got it.
and that was it. And like I love Pete Carmichael, and I like Joe Lombardi, and I like these people. But I think what we're seeing is that those guys, it was all Sean Payton, it was all Drew Brees. And what Payton's doing in Denver now, it may have just been all Drew Brees. Because, I mean, last year, their offense was so stale and so predictable, and they're just, I mean, it was a shell of what we saw in those great years when they were an offensive juggernaut. And now it's the same players. It's still Derek Carr in year 11. It's still Alvin Kamara. It's still Shaheed. It's still Olave. It's still Penning and McCoy and Ruiz. I mean, literally, the scheme and the coordinator is the only thing that's different, and it's working. And it's not just working. It looks next level great. And it was one thing to do it against Carolina, who is not even an NFL team. I mean, they're embarrassing. But it's another thing to do it against a Dallas team that's won 12 games 3 years in a row, that is considered a real contender, that has some elite players on defense, that just went to Cleveland and embarrassed them. And to go there and to do that and to execute at that level, I mean, look, it's 2 of 17. They got another big challenge this week. They got another big challenge in a few weeks against Kansas City. We're going to learn more about this team, but I don't think anybody could have dreamed this offense this soon, performing this well in every single phase. It's truly mind-blowing. The last I remember this, in my friend and colleague here in New Orleans, Jeff Duncan, mentioned it in his column today, and I said it a few times earlier this week. In 2009, they brought on Greg Williams as defensive coordinator. We knew Drew Brees was elite. We knew the Saints offense was elite. In 2008, Drew Brees was the first NFL quarterback to pass for 5,000 yards since Dan Marino, and they went 8-8 because the defense was trash. They fired the coaching staff. They brought in Greg Williams. Next thing you know, one coach, they went to the Super Bowl. I don't want to get ahead of myself here, like the Saints are going to the Super Bowl this year, but that's the closest comparison I have of ridding yourself of a system and a coaching staff that's not working, because they really had the same players. You know, Vilma was there in 2008. He was elite in 2009. Roman was there in 2008. He became elite in 2009. You know, Tracy Porter, Jabari Greer, like it was the same guys. They just were opportunistic and played so much better with Greg Williams there coordinating than they did with Gary Gibbs. And I think right now what we're seeing with the Saints offense is the players are being put in a much better position, and the game plan is so much better under Gary Kubiak than it was under Pete Carmichael. And I really like Pete, and I hope he has success with Sean Payton in Denver.
He's not.
But I think what we're seeing with Kubiak early this season is that anything tied to Sean Payton and Drew Brees was just Sean Payton and Drew Brees. And any attempt to keep that alive was you know, something the Saints made mistakes on by thinking Pete can run this system, he just needs a quarterback. Well, that system looks like it needed to go with Sean Payton the day he walked out the building.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I mean, look, we talk a little X's and O's here. The system maybe have been a little archaic, and you bring in Clint Kubiak, and he's doing what he's doing. You got the emergence of, like legit emergence of Rashid Shaheed, and he's becoming to be a true threat. And them early on in the season being able to open up the things that they're doing over the top is going to force some defenses to do some different things. Well, somebody we haven't seen, two people we haven't seen a whole bunch of so far, if you ask me, are Chris Olave and one Taysom Hill, obviously, as a Swiss Army knife in different roles. Do you foresee, as the season keeps going, if these guys are able to stay healthy, with the ability for Rashid to kind of take the top off of the defense, for things to really start opening up underneath for an Olave, for the run game when you put Taysom in and you kind of do different things with them?
Yeah, look, I'll say this. I think you saw it yesterday. Look, Olave wasn't much of a factor in game one, and you saw the routes he was running yesterday and how open he was. And I think it's because of, you know, that zone blocking and the running and the way they use Kamara. And look, James Hurst, who was starting on this offensive line last year, is one of our analysts here at WDSU now in retirement. I jokingly asked him, are you upset you're retired? Because, like, you could easily leave us and come out of retirement and play on this offense. Last year, you got to listen to people boo you, and now you're all of a sudden being celebrated nationally, or this offense is being celebrated nationally. But he said that creates, and I'm sure like you all as baseball players, if a guy has a pitch he can throw for a strike and you know he has it, just the mind games they can play with you, knowing that they can throw something for a strike and they're not just limited to 1 or 2 pitches, that they have that third pitch. The fact that Carr in week 1 was able to hook up with Shaheed on 3rd down, 3rd and 4, 59-yard touchdown. Yesterday, second series, first play, 70 yards. I mean, those 2 plays are like things we haven't seen since Drew Brees in his prime, because Drew Brees at the tail end going vertically was challenging for him. And so the fact that they can do that opens up so much more and keeps defenses honest so much more. The final years of Brees, teams cheated in, knowing he wasn't able to push the ball downfield. Last year, the knock on Carr was, when he feels the pressure or when it's 3rd and short, he's going for the sticks. He's checking down. He's getting rid of it quick and not even looking for those throws. Knowing that he's taking those shots, and he's had to take some shots in the face to make those throws, I think it opens up a world of possibilities for this offense and makes them, and that's one of the reasons why we have seen them early and often jump on defenses. Well, maybe not Carolina, but Denver's defense, jumping on defenses that's not what you see from them. But because the Saints' ability to play vertically and to still be able to find Kamara in the screen game, I mean, look, I think keeping the defenses on their heels and them not knowing what's coming has been a huge part of this. So yeah, Jared, I think it's only going to continue. They've only scratched the surface of what they can do, and we have only seen glimpses. But and again, I don't want to get too far ahead of myself here because it's only 2 weeks. But what they've done in those 2 weeks is just like mind-blowingly exceptional.
And look, I think a lot of people, everybody knows how good Alvin is, right? Everybody has seen it over the course of his career, but over the last couple of years, he hasn't really been healthy. The offense has been pretty stale. He's kind of been zeroed in on. And it kind of felt like he was getting bored with kind of what was going on. I said bored is maybe not the right word, but it was almost like he was like, hey, we've got to figure something out. We've got to adjust. We've got to do something because can't just keep running forward for 4 or 5 yards and not being able to do it. It feels like Clint Kubiak has taken a lot of the system and a lot of the formations and a lot of the creativity out of San Francisco, brought it here, and inserted Alvin into a position like McCaffrey is over there, sitting him out in motion. He's back in the screen game. This Alvin Kamara looks like the Alvin Kamara of old, and it's very fun to watch. And it's got to be refreshing to him and kind of giving him a new jolt of energy.
Yeah, and I think like those cha-ching signs in his eyes you're seeing as well.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, he wanted the new contract, and he has been fantastic. Look, McCaffrey was the NFL Offensive Player of the Year last year. He's now the highest paid running back in the history of football at $19 million per. I'm not saying Kamara's there yet, but you're right. This is the Alvin Kamara vintage from 2017 through 2021. And in the last couple of years, because of the stale offense, because of the poor quarterback play, because of the system, a lot of different things, he just wasn't the same guy because of some nagging injuries. But, I mean, he looks fast and engaged. I mean, like getting that ball yesterday on that screen, I mean, that was vintage Kamara. And so in years past, especially that year with Jameis Winston and then last year with Derek Carr, it was, here, check down to Alvin and let him go 1-on-4 and hope he does something. And that was just so unfair for him. But now that there is balance, it's amazing to see how good this guy is. I think we forgot. And I think people forgot in Carolina. They had poor quarterback play. McCaffrey's numbers were dipping, the injuries, and then all of a sudden San Francisco gets him, and he gets with Shanahan, and Purdy's in, and it's revitalized him. I hope that this is what we're seeing from Alvin Kamara, that Clint Kubiak is using this San Francisco zone blocking in run game system, and that the way they're using pre-snap motion and how they're using them in the screen game. Look, I think it's very similar to Christian McCaffrey. I think this offense reminds me of what we saw in San Francisco the last couple of years and what we see now in San Francisco. And so again, I don't have a vocabulary strong enough to talk about how impressive the Saints are the first couple of weeks, how impressive Clint Kubiak is. And look, defensive coordinators are smart. They're going to figure some things out. Philly's got a really good defense, and it's going to be a really tough test coming up this Sunday. But we said Dallas was going to be a really tough test, and the Saints passed that test with flying colors. So let's see what they do this Sunday. But I know they feel confident. I know the players are buying in. Look, last year, I even thought after the game yesterday, listening to Dennis Allen, Marshawn Lattimore the last 2 years has missed 17 games with injury. He wanted to be traded. He hit a rough patch with Dennis Allen. He and Allen have talked about that. Well, I think he realizes, boy, we're pretty good again. And Dennis Allen even said he was chomping at the bit to play. It's like when guys that may not have been 100% engaged are now chomping at the bit to play and get out there. I think that's a good sign that the belief in the locker room is as strong as it has been in years, that they believe in the system, they believe in each other. And there's always in sports that faith, believe in what we're doing, but at some point you need tangible results. It needs to become reality, not just rhetoric. In the first 2 games, we are seeing the reality of this, and there's something tangible for them to hold on to.
Fletch, let me ask you this. You have a unique perspective because you talked about James Hurst now works with y'all. He's been in New Orleans for a long time. He's seen the offense. He's about as, I don't know the right word. He's about as equipped, or he's about as the perfect person to ask about this next question. Have you talked to him about what has changed between with the offensive line and what they're doing now compared to what they were doing maybe in the preseason, or what it looked like they were going to do last year, and how they've improved so much? Like, what's the biggest difference that he has said, or has he mentioned that?
Yeah, and look, he talked about that. He was very open and honest with us about that, saying that like last year there were times that he goes, look, to start the season, I couldn't believe how honest he was, where he said the offensive line play to start the season really doomed them last year. Like, he didn't want to blame Derek Carr for everything. He really owned the way the O-line played at the beginning of last season. All the pressure Carr faced, Carr learning the new offense. He goes, we didn't do him any favors as an offensive line, early last season. And then because of that, it made Carr, I hate to say, seeing ghost and jittery and check down master and not letting routes develop later in the season. But he said that the offensive line play was poor to start the season last year. The offensive line play, we had all kinds of questions about the offensive line. Can Penning be the starter at right tackle? Who's going to be playing left guard? Is Fuaga going to be a dude? Well, Fuaga's a dude. Penning at right tackle has been pretty good so far, held up in pass protection, and has been a mauler in the run game. And all the questions we had about the O-line, they haven't been answered in 2 weeks, but you certainly feel a lot better about what you've seen. And it really is just about blocking the guy in front of you. He said last year they just didn't do a very good job. There were all sorts of holes and weaknesses and poor play on the offensive line. And to start this season, you are seeing a much more cohesive unit and much better results.
And I have a question on exactly Derek Carr. Have you ever seen somebody flip the script in the narrative of how they are felt in the city, how much Derek Carr has, whether it be the celebrations? And it feels like if you spend more than 1 year in New Orleans, the city kind of takes you over, and it feels like his personality has started to show out a little bit and kind of gel with what New Orleans wanted him to be, where he's an adopted kid and now he understands what the parents want.
Yeah, no, look, I'll say this, and that's another great question too, is I just ran during our sportscast here at 6 o'clock. I queued up a bite from Jim Mora, who also is with us here at WDSU. Last year, he and I were in LA after the Saints lost to the Rams, and I said, is Derek Carr the guy? And like in full-blown Mora-isms. He's like, no, and he's like, playoffs. Carr is who he is. He's like, he's 10 years in. He's not going to get better. This is who he is. But last night he said, I'm wrong. Like, he's not, like, he needed a system. Maybe all the talk, it sounded like excuse making. He's played for so many coordinators. It's unfair to him. Maybe it wasn't excuse making. Maybe there was something to that he just needed to find the right coordinator in the right system. But look, this is a guy who last year, I hadn't heard a quarterback get booed in the Superdome since Aaron Brooks during the 03-04 years. And that's a long time, because Breeze never got booed in the Dome. And so last year, to hear the fans rain down boos on Derek Carr was an eye-opening experience. And now I think on Sunday, I think they're going to call out the defense because they called out the offense in game one. But I think you're going to hear a lot of people cheering and celebrating Derek Carr. And I think that's good. Look, we all live in South Louisiana. We all deal with storms. We all, I think, resonate with people, places, things like bruised and battered, but not broken. And I think that we have tested, and I mean the Saints fans here and even the media have tested his resolve, and maybe he's fighting through that, and we are going to see a guy who just kept fighting through it and is now going to be the best version of what we always thought he could be, and fans always thought he could be, and the Saints always thought he could be.
I want to change the tone a little bit, but like playing with the lead is one thing. Playing with as many guys that have experience on that defense is another thing. But we all know that's not going to be the role for 17 straight games. How do you see this defense continuing to go forward, and how do you see them playing and being able to keep the level of play up that they've shown so far through 2 weeks?
Yeah, I'll say this. The one thing that I've always given Dennis Allen credit for, and I've compared him to Steve Spagnuolo. Steve Spagnuolo was an amazing coordinator with the Giants. Got a chance to be a head coach with the Rams. Didn't work out. He's bounced around. He's found a home again as a great defensive coordinator, Super Bowl champion with the Kansas City Chiefs. Dennis Allen is a great defensive coordinator. Yeah. I still don't know if he's a great head coach. I hope this year he proves he's a great head coach. But the thing about the Saints, even those last years of Drew Brees, Dennis Allen's defense was the backbone of those teams in 19 and really certainly in 20 when Brees was in his final year. And even in the 21 when they were playing with Jameis in the carousel of quarterbacks. So, look, I think Dennis is a great X's and O's guy. That first game against Carolina, when he had a weaker opponent that was confused by everything, he sent exotic pressure left and right and made Alontae Taylor the sack leader in the NFL with 3 sacks from the safety position. I think his game plan on Dak Prescott was masterful. And so I think that as long as they can stay healthy defensively, because they are a little long in the tooth. Right. Tyron's old for NFL players. Tyron's old. DeMario's old. Cam's kicked inside now a lot, but he's old. Chase Young has dealt with health issues, his entire career. That's my biggest concern, Jared, is health on the defense.
I didn't want to say it. I wanted to make you say it. Just want to let you know I didn't want to say it. I wanted to make you say it.
Yeah, but that's it. But like X's and O's wise, Dennis Allen to me is an awesome defensive coordinator. And they have great coaches on that side of the ball. And they have elite players on that side of the ball. My biggest concern for the defense is don't lose multiple guys for weeks at a time. Like if DeMario goes down and Tyron goes down, or if Marshawn's still out, like that's the problem that I think they face is I question sometimes like the depth at the safety position, in the depth on the defensive line if they lost multiple guys. So that's my only concern defensively. But other than that, one of the saving graces the last few years has been this defense. So I feel like it's been the offense, the quarterback, the coordinator. What are we doing? Why isn't it Peyton Breeze? So defensively, I don't want to just dismiss it, but I feel like they're in a solid spot right now, coaching, playing. The only thing that could derail that unit would be a rash of injuries to key players.
Fletch, we're not going to keep you too much longer, but I do want to mention this. So, the last couple of years, it kind of felt like the Dome was getting a little bit
restless.
Yeah,
Stale.
Frustrated. They were stale is the word. I didn't want to. We used it earlier. I didn't want to, but feels like just got to give them an inch, and they take a mile. And it feels like the Dome is kind of back. You could hear it in Dallas.
Took over Jerry's World.
You could hear how the chants, the who dat chants. I can't imagine what the Dome's going to be like on Sunday. I'm hoping to be in that number. What's the feel around New Orleans? Because when football is good and the Saints are good, it feels like New Orleans is a party every day. Even more than it already
really
is.
Does. And we haven't experienced that party in a few years. So I think you're right. It's hard to put into words what we're seeing now because, like Sean Payton, Drew Brees, Reggie Bush, they found instant success right away. They came in here, they opened up 3-0, and they rode it to their first ever NFC Championship game, and they were the Kings forever. I do think, just look at the tickets on the secondhand market. And I get it. A lot of people from Philly are coming down because it's a great trip, and we always have a great contingent from Philadelphia that comes down here. They're loud, they're rowdy, they party, they travel with their team. But week one, tickets on the secondhand market to get in to see Saints Carolina when people were really down on the Saints, really down on Derek Carr. Carolina's a joke. Tickets to get in were as cheap as $11. We just did a story. The cheapest ticket right now on SeatGeek or one of the secondhand markets, $218. So it just shows that, sure, the Philly fans are coming, but the Saints fans are ready to party and celebrate and cheer on Derek Carr and Shaheed and Kamara and Olave. And again, I hope that this isn't fool's gold, so to say, that, they fall off a cliff here and reality sets in, because we're just starting to inch back to, look, I've been here 22 years now. The Saints, during Peyton Brees' heyday, they won something like 21 straight primetime games in the Dome. And the Dome was just this raucous, amazing home field advantage. And I do think we're at least going to see a semblance of that on Sunday against what is a pretty good Philly team and what is another statement game for the black and gold.
Kind of wish that was a night game. I kind of wish they'd flag. They can't.
You would a night?
I wish they can't do it, but
they have one against the Chiefs at the Chiefs on Monday Night
Football. Yeah, but it's not in the Dome. It's not in the Dome. It's different when it's in the Dome. You have a lot of the schedule in New Orleans this year. You have a lot of interesting games. Obviously, Sean comes back to New Orleans, right? Broncos play at Saints. You have Jaden Daniels coming into New Orleans, so there's going to be a big contingency. So it's a fun home schedule, it feels like, and it's nice to have the Saints back, or the Saints fans back, believing in the team, and it just brings more energy. It makes it more fun to go to, for sure.
Yeah, no, look, I agree. I mean, look, it's easier to cover them when everybody's happy and they're good than constantly. Oh, can you still see me there?
Yep. Yeah. Yep.
Oh, we're going for a ride.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, there we go.
Sorry, somebody tried to call me, so I was just
that's how you avoid it. Good job.
No, it's easier to cover. Again, I feel like I'm a professional, and I have no problem saying they stink or doing commentaries. I think it's cavalier sometimes to talk about people's jobs and making changes and stuff like that. But this is all still sports entertainment, and good and bad. I think people understand that. But it is much better to celebrate what they're doing offensively and think about the great possibilities of what could be. Could the Saints play in the big game in the Big Easy? The dream of the Super Bowl in New Orleans with the hometown team. That's at least better than talking about who's our next coach and running Derek Carr and Dennis Allen out of here with pitchforks, so to say. So, yes, it's better for everyone when the Saints win, and it's fun when they win. It's not painfully winning. No offense, I know y'all are in Baton Rouge. Escaping South Carolina and painfully winning is not, it's great, but it's not, it's still the uneasiness. Winning in a fun way, like the Saints are doing right now, and it's second lines down Poydras Street celebrating everybody, is a lot better.
Real quick, you're a very stylish man. I want to get your thoughts on Daryl Moose Johnson's suit. on the left there, if you can see that.
Yeah, that thing was a lot.
Oh, yeah. I don't know. You know, like, that's something that I may have worn, like, a time and a place. I got to admit, every now and then I'll
You
wear
can't
a
go
crazy
plaid
suit. You guys
with
have
the stripes.
Yeah, like I said, I don't know. And it's also like we're past Labor Day, and that's kind of like an
Buttercream croc
look.
skin.
That's a whole lot of different patterns right there.
Yeah, like, I'm not sure about that one. Like, I just feel like somebody needed to pull him aside and say, Moose, like, dude, like, you know, like, maybe reel it in. So Sharif Ishak, who you all know that I work with here, I think he would enjoy that. Like, he and Lance Moore last year.
So are you trying to say Sharif's a bad dresser? I'm telling him.
I'm not saying he's a bad dresser.
Just needs some
I'm
lights in the
saying
closet.
He's a little bit more outlandish than me,
Okay.
and he may appreciate that more than I do.
Yeah, I'm more the guy on the right than the guy on the left for sure. No doubt.
I mean,
Yeah,
'cause
I'm
you
wearing
look
navy
sharp
blue
right
suit.
now.
I'm not saying I don't have that in my closet, and I'm not saying I can't go to it, but to me, that's more like a double reverse flea flicker than it is, you know, like a
The
straight
annexation of Puerto
post-up.
Rico?
Yeah, no doubt. No doubt. Fletch, dude, we appreciate you. I know we've had you always are welcome on the show. You're always gracious with your time. We love having you on, especially when you're in the studio dressed like that to the nines, especially when the Saints are good. Hopefully we continue to have you on. They continue to win. If I'm in New Orleans on Sunday, which it looks like I may be there, I'll give you a ring. I know you'll probably be working, but if I can stop by and say what's up.
He's just trying to get on the sidelines, dude.
Dude, you're a member of the media. Just tell him you need a pass.
I'm working on that. Don't
tempt me.
Give me an inch, I'll take a mile. Give me an inch, I'll take a mile. Done before. Man, I appreciate you. Everything all
And
good?
Lloyd, thank you. I'm gonna go get a new cover now to make sure that, you know, thank you for telling me my screen looks like crap and I was in a fog and now I'm crystal clear. So
Hey, everything
I'll work
everything
on
all
that
good in
too.
New Orleans? Hurricane wise, flood wise, everything good on your end?
Yeah. I was out in storm coverage. We all go into storm coverage, but yeah, everything's fine. This to me was like a storm like that I think we all experienced growing up here. You know, power goes out for a few days. Thankfully, nothing catastrophic. Thankfully, no loss of life. Unfortunately, there's a little flood water here, but we're all back to normal a couple of days later. You know, Katrina was the massive outlier. Right. Ida was a massive outlier because of the unfortunate and horrific destruction they caused. But I feel like this was like a normal storm for South Louisiana, and let's hope that storm season is over and we can just focus on like football season.
Football, there you go.
Absolutely. Fletch, appreciate you, man. Enjoy the rest of your Monday. Enjoy Monday Night Football. We'll have you on again soon, man.
Give us a pick.
All right, anytime.
Who do you like tonight?
All right.
You like the Eagles?
Yeah, I do like the Eagles. I also like. I'm just like I just can't stand the Falcons. So like it's hard for me to ever say I like the Falcons. So yeah, I'm all about fly Eagles fly tonight.
All right, love it. All right, man.
Sets up for a
Talk to you
great
later.
day in the
Sets up for a
dome.
great Sunday.
He's the best.
He is the best.
Sharif.
Sharif right under the bus.
No, he got mad at me. He texted me today. He says, "Hey, I'm off Monday and Tuesday this week. If you want to hop on," I was like, Fletch is coming on. I'll get you on next week." He said, "All right." He said, "Fletch's a great talker." I said, "Yep."
Sharif,
Hard
we
to
got
compete.
You. We'll holler at you next week.
Fletch said you're a bad
big week.
dresser.
So next week's a big week to be on anyway. You guys,
Hey.
we'll holler at you next week.
Actually, I got to text my sister. She was my sister was the one in charge of the tickets. She gets one shot, one opportunity. It's everything she's ever wanted.
Hey, all I'm gonna say is this: if we go back to the Saints talk a little bit, I like what I'm seeing from the defense too. You got to remember, like we just talked about. Hey, Marshawn Lattimore's out. It's been out a lot lately, but you know what else pushes a man to get back in? When you see the young rookie like Kool-Aid McKinstry come in and ball
out.
Listen to me.
And the squad's playing well. All of a sudden, I think I could go a little bit. I start feeling a little bit better.
Debo. He had the most pass breakups of anybody in the NFL.
Well, I'm not sleeping on Debo.
No,
Debo's been in it. My point is now there's another one inserted into this thing that's doing better that hasn't been there in the past.
No,
I'll start putting that in. You're like, hey, wait, time out now. You're not about to push me out the building.
Am I about to get a crick on my other side of my neck? I'm gonna be
awesome. You're gonna have the
I'm
John Emery injury.
What was that?
You labor one side too much, the other side gets a little.
That's what it feels like.
Gets a little too much work.
I got things to fix that.
Yeah, don't take them all.
I'm gonna take as many I need to take.
Get him over here.
That's a drug. I can't do that. It's illegal. Prescription.
That's Benadryl.
Yeah. Okay. Go ahead. What were you gonna say before that? Before I got you.
Oh no, I think there was a time and place where, like, Marshawn wouldn't have been on the sidelines, and then you see him super engaged and with the
that's
team.
what he's. That's
what I'm saying. Like to Fletcher's point, that kind of speaks volumes to what I'm seeing from New Orleans. Like I was out.
Hey,
I was not a big Saints fan. I thought Dennis Allen was a
You're
fraud.
a fair weather guy.
I was a Clint Kubiak guy. I was like, let's see what Clint Kubiak does. That's all I was saying. I was like, you need to fix the
you
offense.
think Michael Thomas is mad?
You can still sign him.
You think Michael Thomas like, damn, I should have just like
swallowed my pride.
Kept working hard, got healthy, got on the field, because man, this looks like a fun offense.
You know how mad he'd be if he was a Bronco right now? He'd be even more upset if he was a Tennessee Titan.
Yeah.
I love Will Levis so much.
Like, Will Levis could be good. I mean, he's got to stop doing what he's doing.
He's got talent.
You can't take that away from him.
No,
he's a special breed.
And look, you got, and Mahomes does some crazy stuff, and Mahomes like does it right and like completes them, and like even Baker.
Hey, I'm gonna tell you what.
Baker does some crazy stuff too, but he gets away with it.
That clip of Brian Callahan walking off the field, looking at him, telling him, "What the fuck are you doing?"
Yeah,
it's incredible.
Inside the 50, it's hard to get there in the NFL.
That's incredible. That a head coach is telling you that 2 weeks
Yeah.
into the season.
And then you got Malik Willis balling.
Doing it.
Well,
enough.
Doing it.
The NFL is wild.
Is it McConnell? Is McConnell the best offensive coach in the league?
No, he's not. But he's from the same tree. He's one of them ones.
To do what he's doing with Donald.
Ghost Man.
What? Yeah, Ghost Man.
It feels like one of those like friendly league pass offs where it's like Sam is much maligned for all of his career.
Darnold.
Yeah, Sam's much maligned for all of his career. He finally goes and be's a backup somewhere where they run a great system, and now he picks up the phone and says, "Hey, you my dog. Listen, I got one for you. He might not start for you this year. I know you guys are in the quarterback market,
but you're gonna have 5 more years of the job.
You're gonna need him. Let's go ahead. We can't keep him. You go ahead and take him, and then you pass him on over. The next thing you know, they're 2-0. Hey, KOC is a good coach. Brian Flores is a good defensive coach.
Yeah.
I don't know how good of a head coach he is.
You hear
especially
what,
according to Tua. But
you hear what Brock Purdy told him?
No, I didn't.
Brock Purdy came up to him and said, he goes, man, y'all scheme is crazy. Basically saying, bro, I had no idea what y'all are doing. Like, we had no answer for you.
Yeah.
Couldn't figure it out. Brian Flores is a good defensive guy.
You know how many people lost their Survivor League because of that game?
People have lost Survivor League because of the last 2 years.
You know what's funny about
weeks.
I don't know why people like jumped on that yet. Minnesota got beat by them last year.
San Francisco hasn't beaten Minnesota in Minnesota the last 9 times. Yeah.
So if people in Survivor Leagues were really playing and really trying to do like survive, that's not the one you should have picked right there. That's not the one. And you got to think about it too. Like it's West Coast team flying all the way to the other.
People forget about that all of the time.
Hey, they're playing that game at 9 o'clock West Coast.
Think about that a lot.
That's early. That's really early. Like,
y'all should. You've done it.
I've done it.
So like, yeah, there was a lot of
going
things
this way. I've gone this way, that way.
Yeah,
it's still the same thing.
Yeah. It's a little bit harder to go.
It's harder to go West Coast there. Everything gets sped up.
East Coast, West Cost. At least you're like,
I
get more time.
You're asked to be up longer.
Yeah.
When you go the other way, everything gets sped up. So that 12 o'clock game over here, that's 9 o'clock here.
And usually we'd have a day off. Yeah. Whenever we'd go from West Coast to East Coast.
Well, they got plenty of days off.
You usually have, I know, but like, you still travel the day before the game or whatever it is, whenever they get there. It's different, but
the jet lag's a massive factor.
I always think the second day after traveling is worse than the first day. So.
Because that's your first full day there too, and that's your body's not on that clock.
Right.
That's what I'm saying. I feel like this is just strictly gambling. I'm so bright over here, but it is strictly gambling.
What is that from? Is that the camera?
This light right here.
Yeah, but that's always been on you with that.
Yeah, but this is a different camera.
I thought we had the other camera. I thought this is the one you let someone borrow.
Yeah, it'd have to go into the factory settings again.
We're gonna wait.
Pause. That's the inside baseball.
Nice
talk.
nice glowing on the forehead.
Yeah, the one thing that really needs to be highlighted on me. But I do think that people don't think about that a lot whenever you talk about like gambling talk, is the travel time and travel days and short days, all of that stuff. Because some people that do think about it might be in this room.
Let's talk about gambling for a minute.
Yeah,
because we talked about. I want to get back. We have all week to talk LSU. Let's talk gambling.
Still think there's some things we talk about LSU, but
we can. I mean, it's 7. We're getting.
We're up against it.
I wish you could put the TV on. I don't know if we have the. No, we don't have the cable stuff. We don't have like the
right there.
Fire Stick.
Yeah, but I can.
No, it's okay. It's okay. It's okay. Do your show. Okay, we'll do the show. Let's talk about gambling here. Mic'd up. We started this thing this year. We're going to do a mic'd up parlay every week. First week didn't work out well. We only won one of the three. Second week, it was Lloyd's pick. What pick was that? It was Boston College. And so we, with
Love
that
pick.
we decided that, okay, we're going to be better second week and we're going to win. We did. Won the parlay plus 597. Okay? Odds were plus 597. We won it. Going into week 3, did it again, boys. We all three pick a leg, and we try to win. So now we
Pick
know.
a leg, give you our reasons why
Yep.
the leg is what
Right.
it is, and then we
we all agree beforehand on the leg, and then we talk about it on the show. So that way we know whose fault it is if we don't win. Okay? We won week 2. Nice rebound week. Can't be a win streak unless you win 2 in a row. We did it. We won 2 in a row. This was plus 612. Our friend Grant Dozier, who's a listener to the show, he sent me a screenshot on social media saying, hey, I took it. Thanks for the money. I appreciate that. I follow you every week. So he's fading our picks, which we love.
Not fading.
No, he's
Following.
He's tailing.
Tailing us.
He's tailing, not fading, tailing our picks. This is what we picked. We had Notre Dame Fighting Irish minus 9.5. Thought that was going to be a blowout. Actually, Jared thought that was going to be a blowout.
He's all over that because, like I said, first 2 games of the season, you had no touchdowns thrown by Riley Leonard, right? You had 2 starts, no touchdowns. Getting 10 right here.
Just got beat.
Spotting them 10. Just got beat. Come back home. A lot of things to play for. This is a great time for them to finally show up, and boy, did they ever show up.
40
Blowout City.
What was it?
66-7.
That's what it was.
Blowout City.
That's what it
So
was.
that one hit. That one was done before halftime was over.
Yep.
You can go ahead and cash that one in. So that was a good one.
Second one, Lloyd picked.
They finally let Riley Leonard run, which was the difference.
I didn't care about that.
If you want to win, let Booby spit.
I just knew the
Booby
touchdowns
spit.
wasn't there. He ain't gonna go 3 games in a row without throwing
Well, no,
any touchdowns.
I'm just saying they unleashed it like that. That's a huge part of his football. Great, like that opens up the pass for him a little bit, and they finally were like, okay, after you lose to Northern Illinois, let's get back to why you brought him into the program. And 66-7 ain't no fluke. That's a great pick by Jared.
Great pick. Second leg of the parlay was
you, Ole Miss Rebels.
Ole Miss Rebels. My thoughts of this is it's not Wake Forest at Purdue. Notre Dame was at Purdue.
Yeah, crazy.
Crazy. So on the road did it like that, right? Ole Miss playing at Wake Forest on the road. The reason why I picked it was, one, Ole Miss is the best Ole Miss team they've had since Lane Kiffin's been there, maybe ever. This could be the best Ole Miss team they've ever had
since
in recent memories, right? Like in the last 30 years.
Or Eli. They get
even they're a better team than when they had Eli.
Split SEC West champs.
Yeah, when he fell down.
Yeah.
At LSU.
Stepped on the guard.
Appreciate that. Ole Miss, Lane Kiffin, he is known to, hey, we're going to go out there and we're going to put up some points. We're going to make it look good. They are trying to make statements. They are not going to let anything up to chance. I had confidence in their quarterback. Jackson Dart is a veteran guy. They're super talented. And, boy, did they end up doing what everybody thought. They were 22.5. I think they doubled that spread. I think they won like 40 to
6.
40 to 6.
With 650 yards of total offense.
Which is exactly what we had thought was probably going to happen.
And then
the third leg,
little old Boston College.
They are on a heater with us right now. They Vegas
it might be over.
Vegas needs. I think Vegas is about to hone a little bit more in on their lines. Yeah, but plus 16. They were playing who?
Missouri. And they were winning the majority of that football game. It made me regret not going money line, and then obviously it ends up not being money. I was like, okay, good. Yep. Take the points, take the points, take the points. 16 points. Keep going up 16. I've seen it 2 weeks in a row. Cash 2 tickets.
And I think that if you were looking at the 3 legs, this is no offense to you. I think if people were looking at, which one do you think is probably not going to hit, people would look at that one and say that one because Missouri's ranked in the top 7.
Well, what's the magic? You know, how often can Boston College use it? Because obviously Florida State stinks. We wanted to put that one in there. If we had a 4th leg,
right?
We were saying that was a lot of
we almost
conversation.
Took money line. We literally, I thought about money
Memphis.
Line.
Was to take Memphis against Florida State, and then I was like, I'm going to go back to the well with my guys at Boston College because 16 points is just too many to give a team that's good. That they're good.
Yeah,
that line was just too good to pass up. You couldn't pass that one up.
And there's a world where when you gamble enough, you go, that's cheese. They're trying to get you to put your little nose in there and get rat trapped.
And I got it. Didn't get trapped.
Got the cheese, got
out. The mouse trap didn't really work.
Got the cheese, got out.
Malfunctioned.
And so that is, I mean, this is an incredible run that the boys are on where you hit 2. People go all season trying to hit 1 parlay.
And this is like, and we said 3 legs because it's reasonable. It's not like my old parlays where I had like 7 on there and I wanted to hit them.
Look, if we had 7 people here, we'll have a conversation.
Right.
But a 3-leg parlay 2 weeks in a row, that's nothing to sneeze at. Now, it'd be great to take it.
We're going to do it again. It's too early to pick them.
I already got LSU.
Minus 20, you teased it down, no doubt.
Oh, yeah, I got a great little teaser in. Because I think UCLA stinks. I'm going to pull it up real quick.
Speaking of betting, the sports books have been taking a lot of money from the NFL people.
I don't gamble at the NFL anymore.
I haven't touched an NFL game yet this year.
And that's why you're up.
And that's why I'm up. Because if you were betting favorites, which majority of the bets go towards the favorites, you've been losing a lot of money.
But if you money line them, you'd be up.
If you money line the favorites?
The boys in Vegas, the teeth filed down sharp because everything is coming down to the exact spread. I did bet the Sunday night game, push, void.
So does it count?
6 points
it never
because
happened.
of a late interception that just didn't have to happen. And
you did send us something that was pretty little dicey with a certain small school in college football. Didn't you send us that? About how there may be some betting things going on. Is it Western Michigan?
Yes.
Yeah. Can you talk about that a little bit?
I forgot that I sent that. It was a long weekend after the stream. I just started firing off some twits.
But I didn't really get into that, and I was hoping that you could give us the cliff
No,
notes.
I see it, I send it.
Okay, I
no
didn't know
backstory.
so you did nothing with it. Okay. Never mind.
I also did see a minor league baseball player that was a 5th-round pick telling the hitters their signs.
He got released.
And he got released. You're a 5th-round pick. Buddy. He said he was done playing. I don't want to be in the season anymore. Ready to go home.
I'm going to tell you what. That ain't the first person I've seen do that.
No.
He's just the one that got caught because apparently he was very boisterous, and it wasn't select players. It was, hey, bro, I got it for the squad. I'll give it to you. Yeah, that didn't work out well for him.
Okay, here's the Central Michigan tweet that is crazy. So, from Bud Elliott 3, 2 weeks in a row, limits go up to $20,000 and money pours in against the chips like whomever has unloaded the bank vault already knows the final score. These are all $20,000 plays. Minus 21, they go up from minus 103 to 118. Everything is kind of in that same ballpark. And I guess this is a good tip. We'll keep our eyes on it. But somebody has been making racks. That's 20, 40, 60, 80, 100, 120, 140, 160, 180. This man's made $200K betting on Central Michigan. At the gun. Right before it starts.
Wow.
Something's fishy.
Wow.
Or maybe he's
Should we start doing that? Should we
I think,
start
these are the kind of things that go away.
It's
over now.
Every time, you're right. Every time some betting guru goes, man, I'm winning at an 85% clip, and then I jump on it. He is now at a 15% clip that next week.
Stay with me.
Yeah, I ain't staying with you. You get one shot, dude.
But who you should stay with, we don't have any information.
We go based off of just
ball,
feel, and knowledge and ball. And we don't try to do too much. We're not trying to reinvent the wheel. Look,
stay off the numbers a lot.
And look, there's other ways we could do
Plus
this.
612 is a good penny.
No
and
doubt.
listen, 3 is good because you don't get too greedy. We can easily sit here and say, hey, let's 6-leg it. Each of us give 2. That's greedy.
Yep.
That's greedy.
And look, we
give you 3.
And look, we make it
Eat
simple
till you're
too.
full.
There you go.
We make it simple too. We're not teasing anything. We're not betting props. Lloyd's a big teasing guy, which is fine. But on the mic'd up parlays, we want to keep this simple, and we want to go spreads or over-unders. We haven't even done over-unders yet. I like the spread so far. We'll talk it. We'll evolve as the season goes, but
we'll stick to what we're doing right
We've
now.
talked them. They've been apart. They hadn't been the ones that we felt the best about.
Winning 2 in a row is pretty good. We're gonna go for 3.
I'll continue to say it's hard to hit one parlay in a year, much less 2 in a row. So
let's go 3 in a row.
I do have a tease out, early number.
Okay.
2-leg teaser. USC plus 1.5 at Michigan. LSU minus 15.5 at home.
Down to 1.5. What's the odds on this?
Minus 120.
Okay, it's not terrible. It's not terrible.
Yes, it is. It's a parlay.
It's a tease. It's a tease.
It's a tease. It's not
I
terrible.
don't like LSU at minus 22.5.
I don't like USC at minus 5.5 either.
No, I like them at plus 1.5 though.
I think they win.
I do too, but I wanted to.
I saw Penn State made it back in the top 10.
Good. I'd love to play Penn State. Bring them down to old Death Valley. And that's where LSU has continued to put itself.
Where's LSU in the AP? Do we know?
Did the
It
AP
just
come
came out. Yep. AP poll.
Yeah, I'm Googling it.
I know you are.
Texas is a new number 1, and Arch Manning might be making a real case for
Arch
himself.
Manning.
I know, he can run like
the
that.
part. What exactly happened to you?
16.
He had
abdomen.
Yeah.
Abdomen.
So
And
they
I bet
stayed-
he
they-
wished he didn't. And then he was talking to Matt McConaughey on the sidelines. He goes, "What do you need?" And he's like, "Weed."
I need that stuff.
And he goes, "I got you."
That's what he said?
Yeah.
No, he didn't.
Yeah. They have him on camera.
Really?
He goes with
Oh, I love that.
McConaughey's weed might put you in a different
Nothing wrong with that.
hemisphere.
So LSU stays
We'll be
put
back
at
next
16.
Yeah. Play today.
We got a good-
LSU's at 16.
What's the slate of games for this week? I'm about to show you. I'm about to tell you.
They've all been good games. Like, I love the way the college, because of the schedule, because of the conference change, the schedule has not had the drop off that you're used to.
Right. Well, even the games that weren't supposed to be big games ended up being pretty good games. Like Illinois, Nebraska, sneaky good game probably. Nebraska undefeated. That's a top 25.
Illinois with the new quarterback.
Yep. Florida's at Mississippi State. Mississippi State stinks. Florida stinks too. Billy may go 3-8.
I've
3-9.
got it on good information that Billy is.
I heard he was fired.
Dunsky.
Yeah, I heard he was fired.
I mean, it's
$27 million to walk away.
It's hanging on by an absolute thread at this moment.
Yeah, I mean that's
the biggest game. I would think. I'd love to look at this North Carolina State Clemson line because North Carolina State continually overrated. It's unbelievable. Tennessee,
Clemson's
Oklahoma.
at minus 20.5, at least on ESPN bet.
It's a great tease. But the one I will circle
USC at Michigan.
USC at Michigan, and then Utah, Oklahoma State will be great. Tennessee, Oklahoma. I think
Tennessee. I knew there was a big one. Tennessee,
a lot of
Oklahoma.
people are really high on Tennessee right now, and I'm in that number. I believe Tennessee is extremely good with that offense and what they're doing with that coach. And he finally found his quarterback. Like you've seen what he did when he had a quarterback he trusted. They were electric. Oklahoma, great defense with a defensive-minded head coach in Venables. That game is going to be fun, especially in Norman.
I think BYU beats Kansas State too.
Okay,
that's one of those traveling. It's going opposite direction.
Putting the parlay together right now.
I'm not. I don't think no, but I don't think. I mean, I say beat 'em. I'm not putting that in the parlay. But Kansas State's minus 7. I don't know. BYU always at. I mean, they're playing late. Ouch.
Penn State will probably beat Kent State, who just got absolutely throttled by Tennessee 71-0.
Yeah, so it's the Tennessee Oklahoma is like the premier matchup.
Where's college game day going this
I'd
week?
imagine there.
SEC game day, whatever
Here.
that. Yeah, they come to LSU, UCLA.
Yep.
I think LSU has put themselves in that. I don't know what's going to happen, but it's going to be fun.
Yeah, and like, hey, if they kind of figure it out, man, they may be really pretty freaking good.
Do you think that they made? I thought that this could have been a statement game for LSU, and the way that it played out
Could have been.
I don't think it was
Yep.
as much as it should have been because of the officiating and how everything turned out. Where they're
Officiating. I mean,
just from the South Carolina contingency that if you see it on Twitter, it's been very much, you
No.
were gifted that football game. All of those penalties were warranted.
even
And it was bad on both sides.
Even take that out the way, right? I think a statement game would have been, hey, LSU going out there and dominating. I think that's a statement. Like, oh, okay.
17-0 ain't a
Here we
statement.
go. No. What they showed the resilience. I think that showed a lot about LSU. But to me, a statement is, hey, we're going to go in your house and we're going to beat the shit out of you, and we're going to dominate you, and we're going to make a statement like, hey, we are who we think
Penn
we
State.
are. And that to me is a statement game. You agree?
Yeah, no, I mean, like 17-0, you come back from it great, but 17-0, they lose their quarterback and you come back from it. It's not a statement, in my opinion.
It's a good win.
It's a good win. It's a good win for your team. It's a good win for your club. But you definitely didn't make a statement. You didn't put yourself on a map. You didn't make it known.
Yeah.
After we just watched that team go on the road and beat somebody 31-6, and you go into their house and you squeak. Like, let's be honest, you squeaked. But there's nothing wrong with squeaking.
It's a good win.
But that's not statements.
No,
right? You don't squeak statements.
A statement would be LSU going in there, getting off to a 17-0 lead, and extending that lead and winning.
You're forgetting
doing the same
LSU
thing.
was favored going into the game as well.
Right.
That's not a statement when you walk out of there with a 3-point win after being down 17-0.
Yeah,
right. A statement is you go in there as
Right.
an underdog and you go and you leave no doubt.
Right.
There was doubt.
Right.
Let's be honest. It's not a statement.
I think I want to find the exact metric, but I'm pretty sure that in Brian Kelly's tenure, LSU has given up the lead or been trailing by it in 10 of his 26 football games that he's coached.
And there's been
10 of 26.
And there's been a lot of big deficits that they.
I mean, you can go down. Yeah, you can go down the list of games that, like, the slow start's starting to become a concern.
No doubt, and he said that. I mean, he said
you can't live like this.
You can't. I mean, he said. That's why I brought up the last three big games. Right, take Nichols out, but
that was a huge game.
USC, they were down 7-0. Obviously, South Carolina, they're down 17-0. And then Wisconsin, the bowl game, down 14-0. Both games against Florida State, you were down, right? Significant points. Ole Miss, were you down?
Yes.
Yeah.
Missouri, down.
Missouri, down.
And Ole Miss, you blew them out.
Right.
That goes back to 2022.
Right.
But it's those type of – Wisconsin, you were down 14-0.
That's what you said, yeah.
Yeah. So that's what I'm starting to – I don't want it to be – it's obviously a trend, but it's something that you can't continue to put yourself behind the 8 ball. But in that same vein, LSU gets better and better and better throughout the year.
They do.
And it's something that I don't know if they're – I was surprised to see them defer.
That was shocked too. It didn't work out the way
I thought 7 for 75, but right in your ass. But he's like, okay, fuck it, I'll try it.
Yeah.
He probably won't ever do it again.
Listen, you go out this weekend, you dominate, you do what you need to do, get rid of it. 21 points a big spread, but I would love to see them do that and like actually, play a complete game of football, move on to South Alabama, get through it, get to the bye week. You talk about statement games, then you got the Ole Miss game. That's a statement game. You go out there and you at home, and you go out there and you actually do the things that you haven't been doing for the last couple of weeks. Correct the mistakes, do all that stuff, and you go out and you win. You'll probably be top 10, top 8 in the country after that.
After what?
If you go and beat Ole Miss.
Yeah, and people are writing that game off already because I saw a lot of like the Twitter contingency going after that game. You look at the schedule and you go, probably a loss to Ole Miss, probably a loss to Alabama, probably a loss to maybe A&M because of the way that they performed.
A&M's back in the top 25.
And I just don't see it that way yet because you have
I'm with you.
2 of those games at home.
Too early to predict that. It's too early
and
to
you
say
just saw
win or
Kentucky and
loss.
Georgia getting a dog at 13-12.
It's hard to win at home. I mean, it's hard to win
on the road.
Yeah.
And they were ready to storm the field, which was unbelievable.
Kind of like Kentucky. I mean, remember the Bluegrass Miracle?
Yeah, the guy in the cow outfit. That's the first person I think of. Jack Hunt with a huge touchdown.
Huge touchdown. Crazy. Changed colors middle of the game.
They started bringing up the Bluegrass Miracle game. They started bringing up the 08 game because I think that was the last time a number 1 went into Kentucky, and Kentucky obviously won that game when they almost kind of
3 overtime.
This one. Yeah,
we're undefeated in regulation.
Yeah.
Who was their upset? Did you see the Sandstorm special that they played on College Game Day?
Yeah.
It was electric.
Cool. Yeah.
It was pretty cool.
Didn't realize that guy was from Finland.
He didn't know what the fuck was going on with college football. He's like, they love me here. My numbers have been going through the roof.
Why is it going through the roof in this area right here?
I'll show up.
Yeah.
But they played it 3 straight plays. I forgot who they were playing. South Carolina, somebody at home. Ole Miss. It was Ole Miss with Devin Sneed at quarterback. And they just got...
You said Jevin?
Jevin. I said Devin. Jevin Sneed. Javon. If you want to change colors. Jevin Sneed. And it was just an electric atmosphere that you saw. Like, in college football, one thing can work.
Yeah.
And go back to it. And I just thought that was a cool ass story.
Look,
then you hear it immediately for the kickoff. You're like, okay, you're in the shit again.
Yeah.
Listen, and that's why it's a hard place to play. Like, they are energetic. They have, South Carolina has, especially under Beamer, like, they play in these big games. They play tough. Like, they do. So
I wish you could bet.
Statement
punt
game,
blocks.
no. Big game, yes. This weekend will be nice. I'm going to enjoy the 2:30 game, actually. Happy that it's 2:30. Get out there a little bit. Go watch the game. Get home. I'm past the stages of going to, Fred's and
are we?
And walk-ons. Yeah, I'm not.
No.
I'm out on that.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, we are out. We're done. We would never do that again.
I can't until Lloyd convinces me. Hey, just come in for a little bit. Just get me in.
Just get me in.
Just get back there and you can go home.
Just get me in.
But yeah, it'll be nice to watch the game. And
you get a nice little chauffeur over
you get
there.
to watch the big game at night. You get to watch the Tennessee-Oklahoma game at night. That should be great. Be Nico's first test. He's a baller.
We'll see.
We'll see.
Under in that game, maybe.
I don't think so. What is it?
I don't know. I just think there's going to be a little bit of a show.
57.5.
Ooh. Probably Brent Venables could dial it up. He still signs.
Everyone still signs. All right.
Mistake of the day brought to you by
our friends at Doe's E-Place. What you need to go Doe's?
We need to have a team meeting, a little powwow.
Maybe next week because I need 1 week of detox.
What, from burgers?
Well, from like eating like shit and it's a long weekend. I'm not gonna be able to work out because it's damn neck thing.
Goiter. Frank
I
Beamer.
feel like Cushman air right now on my neck.
What are y'all doing right now? Like, what is going on?
Go ahead.
Mistake of the day brought to you by South Carolina, as they thought this is going to be the most fun you're ever going to have. Here they come down to storm the field. Everybody's running down, running down, running down.
You hear the guy says, "This game is not over, boys."
When I saw this happen, I was shocked. Y'all know who you're playing?
Did he say game over or game is not over?
Game's not over, you goofy ass school. And then it goes from that to, let's see if I can find the next picture. This, everybody ran down.
Wait, my question is, when did they go down there? It wasn't like they were winning.
It's when LSU was driving to score. They started rushing.
So they're rushing the field after LSU was with plenty of time left on the clock to go out and score a touchdown. They weren't even winning the game when they did that.
And this is when Robbie Ashford started to lead the drive. And so they think they're going to kick a field goal. Just so you're storming the field in overtime? I don't think so. And then you have the missed field goal, which leads to the ultimate surrender cobra. I've never seen more at once. So a two-part, a double cheeseburger.
Can't laugh too much at that because I've been there.
With the cockpit in the background.
Unbelievable.
That's tough.
That is tough.
And there's one more.
I've been there. South Carolina fans, I've been there.
With the kicker who thought maybe.
By the way, can I say something about that? He got a kickoff way after the timeout was called. Like, that shouldn't happen. He shouldn't be able to do that. He missed it right though. And then he overcorrected, missed it left. But
I didn't see any of it.
It was way
play.
It was way after the timeout was called. I don't love that. Go ahead. What were you about to show? The kicker?
I'm looking for. Oh no, I can't find it. But there's a video of the kicker celebrating as if he made it, and then realizes.
How?
I
mean,
it was good for a long way.
Was it short and left?
No, just left.
It was just left.
Because I kept watching the replay. I couldn't tell if it was short and left or just left.
Just left.
Sorry, buddy. All right. Current call brought to you by our friends at Mead Heavy Civil. Mead Heavy Civil specializes in land development infrastructure projects across public works, residential, industrial, and commercial industries, from coastal restoration and large-scale excavations to solar farms and oil and gas pipelines. Mead is the powerhouse moving LSU forward with complete start-to-finish construction expertise. Visit meadheavycivil.com or give Kiefer Sanders a call at 985-518-6774. Curtain call. You got one?
I have one if nobody is ready. Also, I'm going to go back to where we just were in Columbia, South Carolina, where Harold Perkins hops on the phone with the #1 recruit in the nation to celebrate the win with the boys. He's on the phone with Bryce Underwood on FaceTime.
What dance is that? What was that?
I don't give a fuck.
What up, Bryce? Hold on, let me put you on the line. Look. We got the fuse.
Got the fuse. They are Cotton Eye Joe. That's it. Okay, Bryce. Taking up North Carolina.
Hold on, let me put you on the line.
Ticket coming in this weekend. They got vibes high.
We got the
Tell you
fuse.
what, though. They ain't crunching down there when Bryce Underwood was the quarterback. He's pulling that thing and can run out the outside a little bit.
He's starting to show he can run the ball a good bit. He did not do it his junior year.
No, but he had it. You could tell he could run.
Yes.
He doesn't need to do it a lot.
Nuss can run too. He just needs
just enough.
Because we talked about this before the game. We're like, well, you don't want to get him hurt. Well, he got shelled, so he can take a lick.
Oh, he can get hit. Look, listen, that guy loves LSU more than most.
More than anyone.
You know, and so he's going to do what he needs to do. And he'll get up, unless he can't.
He flopped a little bit, but perfect
Boy
flop.
wants him to be a running quarterback so bad.
He needs to show it.
He
For
doesn't
what?
need to show
He
it.
doesn't need to show shit. What are you talking about?
Doesn't need to show it. Scramble for a couple third and short first downs.
That's all I'm asking. Just open up the
but
run
You're
game.
not. You
No,
literally
you're
just
asking
said
him
he
to
needs
pull
to be in the RPO game. That's not scrambling. Man, what are you talking about?
You showed the RPO.
You can't talk out of both sides of your mouth.
You showed the RPO what happened. Maybe
Such a liar.
maybe down there. a little
Anyway,
bit
get
too
to your
far.
email right here.
Yeah.
My curtain call is gonna go a little bit too. Now look, I get it. It's only 2 weeks into it. But I feel like somebody
I
that's
love
running
this.
the top of a team right now is making a little precursor towards what you may see in the Super Bowl right now. But listen, we've been big advocates of talking some shit on Dennis Allen. Dennis Allen clearly still has this locker room, and it's very obvious by what he said right here in this post-game and club dub right here before the boys started partying.
Before you play this, I think to add to that, what Fletcher said about everybody trying to buy back in.
Yep.
That shows you what Dennis Allen's
shows it
got.
to you right here.
Yep.
Oh, stop playing. Download.
Damn, I thought I gave you enough fluff right there.
You did, yeah. Y'all did do a good job.
Not
but
quick
it's-
draw. You still too worried about
Quick draw, McGraw.
Still too worried about Nuss running over there. Can't get
Well,
to it.
if we were to go a little more inside baseball, you sent me a goddamn JPEG. That's not a video. JPEG.
I sent you the link. I know what you're talking about. It's in your
Should be the
email.
link?
I sent you the link.
Should be the link.
Like,
No blame game here.
No blame game, but
No blame
don't
game.
do that. I sent you the link.
No blame game. Do we need to pull it up on Twitter?
here we go. I thought I could just download it straight from the email, but yeah, here we go. Here we go. Instagram. It works. I just thought I could download it
that's
and
okay.
pull it.
Look, it's okay.
It's all good.
It's all good. It's all good.
JPEG.
You know how much more money you'd have? You know how
JPEG's
much
a
more money
picture,
you'd have
man.
in your betting account?
That's what I was shocked.
Had you bet the parlay? What I do want to ask Mikey Mitch on Wednesday. I want people to actually give me proof that you bet our parlays if you bet it. Don't just tell me you did it. Lloyd tells me he does it. He doesn't do it. I do it.
15 regular season wins in a row. Okay, that was a good team. All right, now, okay, here's what we said. We said we had to come in here and play our brand of football. All right, and that's exactly what we did. We played the way the Saints have to play this game. All right? And look, hey, sometimes you just got to pop out and show them.
Whole locker room pops up.
Hey, you knew that, D.
Pop out and show them, huh?
I know you knew what that meant, D.
I love that.
Club dub.
Love that.
Dub going up.
Listen, good vibes. Amazing what some victories does to you, especially when you have kind of some newfound energy, and it's fun to watch. Lloyd's back on the bandwagon. Me and Jared have been on it. We've been sticking on. We've been holding
I
on
bet him
strong.
to win a Super Bowl before the year.
Yeah, okay, that doesn't mean you're on
I
the
didn't, but there was
bandwagon.
one guy I ran into at Superior right now. He got to be feeling his chest got to be way
he's
out
feeling-
there right now because
He probably
feeling himself
He
right
could
now.
probably get a little money on his buyout if he wants to right now. You bet $10, maybe you get $10.50 for
Yeah,
that.
you might get a little something.
Maybe you get your $10 back if you wanted
Oh, forgot about him.
That guy's feeling himself.
He's feeling
Promise
it.
you.
My curtain call is to I guess I could put it up there, but is to our own Jaden Daniels. He got his first dub in the NFL. It's very hard to do. Hasn't thrown a touchdown pass yet, but looks good, looks sharp. Kind of feels like he's understanding the game, getting adjusted to the speed of the NFL. But he got his first W. He's eating that W like Jameis. Jameis may be the starting quarterback for the Browns here in a minute.
Did you see what they said where James calls the play like it's a surprise?
He's just a lot of energy. Like
A little
he has
love to
good
Malik
vibes.
too with his first 100-yard
Malik
game.
for, and a touch,
18,
and a
what,
touchdown.
18 targets?
18 targets.
10 catches. He realized, hey man, I didn't throw you
feed
enough.
him.
I didn't throw you enough the first game. Let me throw you. And look, they were in it. Lost to Jaden Daniels at the end. Jaden Daniels get game-winning
Curtin
drive
called
for
to
the field
the
goal.
field goal kicker.
Listen, Curtin called all the field goal kickers right in the NFL. They are
doing it.
hitting some
50 is like a
50's
no
a
doubter.
40-yarder now.
There's no doubter at this point.
Remember when they used
crazy.
to kick like a 55-yarder and you're like, oh, they're not
No,
going to make it.
when they used to get to 50, used to be like, I want to look, just let me know.
Yeah.
Just let me know. Now it's like, yeah.
Now you got people lining up for 68-yarders, 71-yard field goals and stuff.
Yeah, it's crazy right now.
And realistically, maybe Harrison Butt, they were going to let him kick that 68-yarder.
Butt kicker?
If there wasn't 21 seconds left on the clock, he was going to attempt a 68-yarder and probably was going to make it. To be honest with you.
You have to go to the kitchen if you didn't.
Here we go. See?
Another curtain call, quick one. LSU's defense allowed 1 yard in the third quarter.
That's a curtain call?
Better than South Carolina's defense allowing 7 yards to LSU in the first quarter.
Yes.
Yes.
It's a game of Chestnut checkers.
You beat them in the
Balance
third
it
and
out.
fourth quarters when you needed to. You're able to chip away in the first half. You gave up 9 points, and you scored, I don't know how many you scored, but you scored more than that in the second half, and you beat them.
It's just the third quarter, 6 points.
6
But
points.
175 total yards to 1. That's how you get back in a football game.
That's how you get back in a football game, for sure.
I'm high on this LSU team.
I love that. And look, I'm not down on them.
They're going to be in every game they play.
I have got to see them, not if they keep having 100 yards worth of penalties and 10 penalties and some bonehead mistakes. Now, all of that is fixable. That's not like it's like, hey, we're outmatched or outmanned. That's all fixable. If they fix it, I'm very high on them. They got to do that. Can't be sloppy. All right, that's all we got for you today. We appreciate all love and support. Please like and subscribe to our YouTube channel. If you don't like watching us, but you like listening to us, we're anywhere to get your pods. We'll be back live in studio on Wednesday from 6 to 8 p.m. It's Ask Mikey and Mitch. We'll put it out on Twitter. Ask us the questions on social media. Get in the chat. Ask us the questions in the chat. We also want to know
if you're tailing us.
If you're tailing us. I want to start trying to do some hashtags.
Hashtag tail.
Hashtag Mik'd Up Parlay.
That'll get you something.
Hashtag Mik'd Up Parlay. Let's do something. We're two for our last two in the parlays. Hopefully you're winning some money with me, not Lloyd.
66% clip right now. So
pretty good.
Lock into it.
Pretty good. We'll talk about it on Wednesday.
I picked the parlay. I bet we're all the leg here.
You didn't bet it though.
That's all right because I think it's good luck now.
See, now
I would have bet it if he didn't have that outlandish mush of the parlay right before the show ended.
And did it mush it?
He did. He tried.
Did it mush it?
No.
Nope.
No.
Wasn't even close. Wasn't even close. We all hit that thing with. We were relaxing in the fourth
Eyes
quarter.
rested easy.
Relaxing in the fourth quarter. Actually, yeah.
Yeah.
Yours was the only one that we had to kind of watch till the end, but it was.
Not if you had 16 to the score.
Not if you had 16.
You didn't know they were going to late cover? For a minute there, they were getting close.
They were winning for the majority of
No,
the
I'm
game.
talking about Missouri ended up coming back. Weren't they up 14 at one point?
Fantastic gold spats by Missouri, too. Both Brady, what's his name? Brady Cook and Luther Burden with the gold
You were about to say
spats.
Brady Quinn, weren't
I
you?
was. Also not a gold spat guy.
No.
Honey bear guy.
Yeah. All right. We'll see you on Wednesday. Enjoy the rest of your Monday. Enjoy Monday Night Football.
It's already started, I got a feeling.
I know. Enjoy the rest of Monday Night Football.
Zip.
0-0?
Yep.
Under.
All right.
Goosies.
I'll see you on Wednesday.
Peace.
Peace.